Hey, what's going on, my YouTubers? Hope y'all having a good, prosperous, and abundant week, man. Um, I'm absolutely thankful to be here, and I'm thankful to be in front of this, doing this video. But I got a good one today, man. I really got a good video today, and I think if we stand by this, as far as if any breed, I feel like if we stand by this, excuse me. Um, if we stand by this, I think we'll be able to, cover some good grounds. And I wrote it down so I don't forget, because sometimes I'll be interacting with texting people. They be texting and, on Facebook and et cetera, et cetera. So I just like to write stuff down. So I like to have myself prepared for certain things if I'm going to talk about it. But this is a good one today. I really think this one. I like this one. I came up with this one in my head, and it just worked out. So I might just give y'all 10 minutes just to talk like I did, because 10 minutes, them short videos be better than the long ones. So I ain't gonna hold up your time. I don't start getting better. I put the ice on there, but also I'll put alcohol on there, so it's don't did what it did, don't got the cover, because it was about to close. Guy came down, elbow, boom. But I just love playing basketball because it's very therapeutic. I deal with the dogs. That's very therapeutic for me. Or I fish. Any activity, dealing with family is very therapeutic for me. And I want to keep my happiness and my peace. I want to keep my mind, and just to be able to, elevate. But this is all Will Kennels of the Carolinas at your services. So we got a great topic today. I think it'll be really, really good. So I got probably about another 8 minutes right now to talk about this. So we got possibility versus probability. So I just wrote this down, the definition, when I looked it up on Google. So the main difference is that possibility means something that can happen, while probability measure how likely it's to happen. Possibility, a simple yes or no fact, and probability uses numbers or percentages. So I like the point of them battling against one another, because you hear what the definition basically mean between the two. You got one that's something that that can happen, and the other one means is how likely it is to happen. But then when it goes down to the depth of probability, it uses the numbers and the percentages. And I'm a numbers and percentage guy as far as when it comes to this blood. So that's the probability part. When I feel like if you get the numbers and the right and the paired stat, it can mean something. That's like if you lacking anything, the numbers can mean a lot. It's very critical. It's very technical when you can get them numbers and the percentages of it. Even if you say, if you got a good dog that you started off of that's down up, and I'm gonna just go with the great grandparents or something like that. That was great, and you feel like, okay, I gotta direct, something that was off of the grandparents, a direct son or something that's older. If you can get that bread and bring that stuff right back up front, that can help your bloodline extend, what you're doing. And then, then when you're dealing with the possibility, that means every breeding that you do is going to be a 50-50. Like something can happen, something good can come out of it, but you got to take the good with the bad, but something can good come out. Because, we know that anytime that you dealing with these dogs, rather if it's you got two good ones, and you might not even throw out nothing good, nothing that's near them. Then you do the breeding again, you can probably throw out something great. So I think these two go hand in hand. Like I said, possibility and probability, that's what we dealing with when we deal with these dogs. It don't matter if it's in the American Pit Bull Terrier family, any dogs, I believe that's what we deal with every single time. And I like that probability because it's using them numbers and the percentages. I feel like you can turn a good bloodline that's been dull or that's been really stagnant that's been losing faith. A lot of people are trash stuff, but me on the other end, I like to challenge my mental aspect. I like to challenge the program aspect. I like to challenge the dog aspect. All in one, just, you know, even though the program is part of the dog, but I just use it as another aspect. I like to challenge all that, and I feel like with the probability, if you got the right probability with the numbers and the percentages, you definitely can get better. Because the name of the game is, as long as you producing better, that's the name of the game. If you producing something that's better, that's like if you breed a mediocre dog. If you produce something a little better than her or him, you doing some little bit of groundwork, a little bit of time. So that's where that probability come in. That possibility is when you put two good animals together and you figuring I should get something good out of this. I don't look at the science. The science is which you looking at the pedigree, and I don't look at the valuation. I like what I see, so I'm gonna put these two together, whether if it's just for color, whether if it's just for structure, whether if it's just for traits, whether if it's just for attitude. I don't put this together, so I should get me something out of there. And a lot of times, I think we don't want to be realistic with ourselves when we dealing with these two words, possibility and probability. Because a lot of people, they'll work so hard, spend so much money dealing with the probability as far as, you know, what they don't seen or how heavy a dog don't been bred, or because of the numbers and the percentages of the dog and what they came behind. And if it don't get nothing, they just throw it in the trash. Man, I ain't had shit out of that. That's how they do. You know, I really didn't like it. If it's a will, it's a way. And I feel like the possibility, you know, that's when I say if it's a will, it's a way. You can make something happen. That's my attitude. If I can make something happen, I feel like I can go further than I was. And even though if I got to keep everything, you know, even if some of that stuff just come out as pets, I can still make something out of that possibility. And I can still make something out of the probability if my number's right. Once your number's right, you can do pretty much anything, you know. It really go hand in hand when I said if it's a will, it's a way. Well, even with possibility and probability, because it's a will and a way, even with the probability because of the numbers and the percentages of the dog. If you got it right there, like that's why a lot of people don't be understanding when you take direct dogs that you putting it right back up in the front, you taking something from the back and then putting it right back in the front, man, that means so much. You could be right there where you want to within a matter of time when you do that certain breed, because of that certain dog gave that phenotype, gave you that them great traits, gave you all that good stuff that you need to get your bloodline back thriving, to get it back up to the speed of quality and everything. So I really like this, man. I can really talk about this probably for an hour, just the possibility and probability. I like that, because a lot of times when you understand, when you're dealing with these dogs, you're dealing with probability anyway, because of the numbers and the percentages, and you dealing with possibility because you trying to make something happen. You're trying to make a better replica of both of these parents, hoping you might get something that can go back their parents and their parents, you know, so forth, and great grand and great, you know, going back into the greats. And what really started that foundation stuff. And a lot of times, man, it's kind of hard to get some of the foundation stuff to come back up front unless you got something that's back there, direct son, granddaughter, grandson, back up in that back on them old dogs to bring that stuff right back. And that's something you could be missing, a key component. And that's why I tell people, don't throw, you know, I did a video on that, your rough draft. We all gonna go through that rough draft, man. How you think some of the breeders was able to do what they was doing, man, and see why they got extensive dogs on their yard? Because they still kind of going through that rough draft. They trying to pick out the best to make with the best, and the only way you're gonna be able to see it unless you do it. Because we can speculate all day and say, I know I'm gonna get something out of these two dogs right here. I know I am. And the plenty of the times I don't say I'm gonna stop breeding, it made me want to breed even more, because I felt like something, it was a little better I can get out of my dog, especially out of some of the combinations, like my dog Obsidian and Sky. They don't gave me some good dogs, and some of them, like I got right now, that don't came out. I ain't gonna say all of them made it, but I can use the ones that don't make it. I can figure out something what I can put with them, if you know what I'm saying, because of the probability. I could put that numbers back into what they not missing, and take that and then take this and add with that, and that's all we doing is adding and subtracting. But I think I broke it down good enough for y'all guys. I'm not gonna go any farther. I hope y'all really enjoyed this video. Like I say, it's all about that possibility and that probability, man. When you put them two hand to hand, you able to equal up to, I feel like you can equal up to something successful as far as in breeding dogs or whatever you want to breed. Because it's really simple. It's really simple, because even when you go back into the older days, like Carver, a guy that just played with them numbers, knew what he can and cannot do as far as these dogs, and knew what he can make. Even if he got one dog that came out of one breeding, he took the best out of that and then came back into that, whatever he went back into, like having Black Widow, being one of his foundational females. He used her, Stompanato, all them good dogs that he don't have, Ironhead and all that stuff. Even though some of that stuff may be a lie, how some of them dogs were bred, but still he knew what he was doing, But I'm thankful that y'all able to come and listen to this, man, and comment, like, share, and y'all have the rest of the week good. I think just one of the best videos I probably done by far. But remember, I think that's how we able to be successful with these dogs. And it's going to take a little time to get where you want to get to, but don't stop trying to get where you need to get to. If these dogs are lacking, if you still like the blood, find out the probability so you can be able to use them numbers to put back into that blood. Find out what's going to make it work. That's all you got to do. But I hope y'all enjoyed. Y'all have a wonderful week the rest of the week. Thank you for taking the time out to listen. This is all Will Kennels of the Carolinas at your services. Peace.